Hey guys, we're going to go ahead and start with part 2 of the chain rule day 2. So, the next part we have find the points where f has a horizontal tangent. Now we've talked about this. What does this mean? What does a horizontal tangent look like? It's a line that crosses a curve at one point, but not just crosses it or touches it. It has a slope of 0 because it's horizontal. Okay, so what does a slope of 0 mean? Well, the slope of 0 means that the derivative must equal 0. And that's all I need to know. So now I know what to do. First, find f prime. Second, set it equal to 0. And then third, solve x. Those 3 steps. Now I have a quotient rule. So this is my u, v. So it's going to be f prime is the bottom, which is 2x minus 1 to the half times the derivative of u, which is 1, minus u times the derivative of v, which is 1 half 2x minus 1 to the negative 1 half chain rule times 2 all over 2x minus 1 to the 1 half squared. So let's clean this up. We have 2x minus 1 to the 1 half minus, well, what is a half times 2? And then times x. Well, the halves and the 2's goes away, so I'm left with x, and then 2x minus 1 to the negative 1 half all over. Well, what happens here also? If I'm squaring a square root, then I simply just have the original without a square or square root. Okay, let me go ahead and write this to the first because we're going to do something here. In fact, no. We are going to do something, but not the way I thought I was going to do it. So what was it that I just erased? I just simply erased this. So that is the same thing as x over 2x minus 1 to the, well, now it's positive 1 half. Okay, so then let me go ahead and divide this denominator by that guy and that guy. So let's go ahead and do this. So it's going to be 2x minus 1 to the 1 half over 2x minus 1 minus x to the 2x minus 1 to the 3 halves. Okay, so what do I need to do? Well, I need to have a common denominator. So what does that mean? That means I need to do something really weird. Okay, so in order for me to have the 3 halves, this is a 1, okay, which is the same thing as 2 over 2. What do I need to do to get a 3 halves? Well, I need to multiply top and bottom by 2x minus 1 to the 1 half and 2x minus 1 to the 1 half. So this becomes 2x minus 1 on top, 2x minus 1 to the 3 halves all over minus x, and that simply becomes x minus 1 over 2x minus 1 to the 3 halves. Set that equal to 0. This is my derivative. So that's my derivative. Now I set it equal to 0. Okay, do crisscross multiply. Multiply that, and we have x minus 1 is equal to 0, which is just x is equal to 1. And that is the point. That is the x value. That gives me a horizontal tangent. But it says here I want the points. So it's going to be 1 comma I don't know. Well, how do we find the I don't know? Plug in 1 into the function and we get 1 over 1, which is 1. So 1, 1 is my point that this function has a horizontal tangent. Oh, find the second derivative. We haven't talked about that. It's not as bad as you think it is. It just simply says find the derivative and then take the derivative of the derivative. So we're going to have like a derivative-ception going on here. Okay, so let's find the first derivative. The first derivative is going to be 3 in the front, so it's going to be 12x squared minus 5 to the second, then chain rule 2x, which is going to be 12x, x squared minus 5 squared. That's the first derivative. Now I need to find the derivative of this guy. So it's going to be f double prime, which is second derivative. Okay, now we have a product rule, u, v. So u is 12x, u prime is 12, v is x squared minus 5 squared, and then v prime is 2x squared minus 5 times 2x, which is 4x x squared minus 5. Okay, easy. So let's do this. I have all my parts. Now I have to remember, well, what is the product rule? The product rule is u times v prime plus v times u prime. Simple. So let's do this. So it's going to be u times v prime, which is 4x x squared minus 5, and then plus v x squared minus 5 squared times u prime. Now before I start doing anything crazy and distributing and multiplying, let's go ahead and just figure out what do we have in common. I have a 12 in common, I have a x squared minus 5 in common, and x squared minus 5. Even though it's squared, I can only take out one at a time. So what does that mean? I'm going to factor these guys outside. Okay, since I have a 12 x squared minus 5 in common, I'm going to write it as 12 x squared minus 5. And what do I have left when I take away these 12 x squares minus 5s? Well, I have this only, which is 4x squared, and then I have only one of this, which is plus x squared minus 5 bracket, add up the x squares, and I have 12x squared minus, oh no, that's not a square, x squared minus 5, 5x squared minus 5. And I think I mean, I don't want to go any more further. I could factor out of 5 if I want to, but I'm not going to. Well, let's do it. If I factor out of 5, this becomes 60 x squared minus 5 x squared minus 1. Okay, and that could be my final answer as well. In fact, this is my final answer also, but like I said, if it's a multiple choice problem, more than likely it's going to be either this one or this one. Okay, you really got to know your factoring skills. And that completes this lesson.